This is question 6 of 7, and it's what I've basically learned about the technology since making our project. So, the main technologies that we used was the Canon 700D, which is a new camera. We used the Apple Mac computer, which had the software Final Cut Pro on it. So that's the software we used to edit all our videos on to the best of our ability. So those are what we used. So I'd say after we'd filmed, this is just a normal day of filming, after we'd filmed and we'd gotten all of the footage or any footage that we needed, we'd have to take the SD card out of the camera and slot it into the Apple Mac so that we could take all the footage off, because we didn't want to lose it. And sometimes when we try to film, the storage on the SD card had ran out, so we wanted to make sure that we could maybe take all our footage off and then delete it so there was enough space to continue filming. So after doing so, we'd put the SD card into the Apple Mac, and we'd open up a LaCie folder with saved work. And this LaCie folder is basically a folder that could contain all of the footage that we'd filmed, and we can access it from any Mac at all. So we weren't restricted to one Mac at all. So one Mac, we weren't restricted at all. So there were several Macs in our classroom, but at any time that we needed to switch, we could do so. We weren't limited to one. So we'd open it, we'd make a specific folder for our group so that it was easy to locate, because LaCie is quite a big folder. So we'd make a folder under our names, Mariam, Scott and Ola. So any footage we do, we'd save it directly onto that folder. This was so important because from our prelim and previous work that we've done, I've had an encounter where we hadn't taken that precaution. We hadn't really made sure that we accidentally saved it on the Mac, but it wasn't actually saved on the LaCie folder. So when we wanted to edit it, we'd edit it, but then we couldn't put it on YouTube. So when we tried to export it to a different Mac, so we could access it on a different Mac, it wouldn't allow us to, because the clips were missing. Obviously they weren't missing, but we couldn't access it because it was it wasn't available on that Mac, because it wasn't available on other Macs apart from the one that we'd saved it on the desktop rather than on the LaCie folder. So that was a key thing for us. Yeah. Another software that we used was Logic Pro, and this was to edit our sound on. Our score, or the soundtrack that we particularly made, we had to take and we had to we had to record over it. So we had to make sure that we put a microphone in. We had like foam around it so that the sound that was coming out of my mouth as I was singing it was going directly into the microphone, and it wasn't lost, so that it could be the best quality ever. So it didn't pick up other noises, it picked up my voice specifically. I'd say those are the main technologies, but as we wasn't really doing any of the adjusting of the filming, it was quite straightforward. Someone else was helping to assist us to do that, who was better and who was studying in that field. But I'd say that's what we learned mostly about the technology. Bye bye.